Great. Thank you, Ibrahim. That was really
Thanks.
interesting.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move now to some questions. If anyone in the audience does have questions that they would like to ask, then do please post them in the Q&A function at the site. I might start the ball rolling just with a question for Sean. So I was really interested in terms of how in terms of the tele process, in terms of how quickly it's all happening, and also on such a scale in terms of across so many countries. Can you maybe describe that journey for us in terms of how it's been achieved or implemented?
Firstly, just being able to speak to the right people is a recipe for making things really happen, and having people involved who want to achieve those goals with you. So basically, specifying the problems, being clear on overall problems and then sub problems within those problems, who's involved in those problems, mapping each of those stakeholders, if you will, to where they are in the life cycle, and starting to chip away at the overall problem. You begin with site data capture for existing sites and the design and retrofits of sites. So we had a first good 11, 12 months on the design phase alone. And then we started to streamline in parallel the development of mobile applications to collect install data while the designs were being deployed in three different continents and several different countries. And as we start getting that data back within the database and seeing the equality and assessing it, then we start to see what the value of that data is by querying the original. That's what I'm trying to say. We can now query about these problems that were forecasted in the beginning and now get real tangible results from that data. And now we're actually moving into the updating of that information and the design drawings for the final digital twins. So that's pretty much how the journey has gone. And it's been approximately in full swing for a little over 2 years.
Okay, so again, certainly moving quickly. So in terms of its use, so what you've described there is it has been used on live projects.
Yes. Currently, it's being used on highly in the design phase. There's over 10,000 components in the component library. These are being used on different continents in the Americas and here in Europe mostly, but then also in Asia to build sites and then deploy those drawings and site installation documents for the development of those sites.
Okay. And I recall you mentioned at the start about in terms of there's a couple of big, say, industry leaders in this space in terms of who are maybe driving the change to this. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, not just in telecommunications, but in all industries, you have major leaders in digitization and rolling out in this new digital way and showing, hey, the world receives benefits from doing these things. And it's not just about talking about technology or creating technology for technology's sake, that it's really solving problems to get to those other goals. That all of these huge organizations have roadmaps that go into the distant future, such as in telecommunications. 6G is already being spoken about and discussed, and that could only leverage off of what has been going on over the last 2 years with tele. I don't talk about artificial intelligence and all of this much, but all of these systems are also dependent on this data. You've heard others speak earlier about structured data, and you can now see how big organizations all have the same goals. To reach those goals, we all have to do pretty much the same thing, and that's structured data, store it, make sure it's usable. Otherwise, we're not going to achieve what we're really setting out to with all this BIM and digitization.
Okay, no, thank you, Sean. I might come back to you in a moment, but first I might move to Ibrahim to ask him again a couple of questions. So the first one relates to, I suppose, trust in AI. Has this been accepted in your work with adjudicators, or how has it been received?
Well, yeah, of course, because for many adjudicators, AI is a kind of black box, something which they don't know how it works. And of course, this will need maybe some proof by the developer of systems to say, or maybe to explain the accuracy and the kind of analytics techniques used to make sure that it will be trusted to reach to a decision. While, yeah, there are a lot of discussion about it, not only related to adjudication, but maybe for other as well. Can a wrong decision be made by the end? So we discussed this with in the interviews, and there's in the paper some statement from the interviewees to tell that the final decision will not be by the AI system itself. It will still in the hand of human or the adjudicator himself. If the conclusion coming from the system doesn't maybe matching with logic or the proceeding that usually adapted, so of course the decision will be in their hands. But definitely the system will help them search in the literature or things related to case law and all of the documents, huge documents, to help them make it searchable within limited time to reach to certain maybe evidence or something that they need to look at. So yeah, the point of trust is still there, and definitely there should be some work on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does again remind me of one of our speakers yesterday. May Winfield mentioned an example of ChatGPT being used in the US, where the AI basically fabricated 6 examples, and again, it went as far as court, and it would cause major reputational damage to the legal firm involved. And in your paper, you do also though highlight the importance of data verification. Again, I'm just wondering, is this creating almost more work than it is solving by these additional steps required?
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. There is for every new solutions there will be also a kind of challenges and maybe some kind of shortcomings that should be dealt with. So yeah, so data verification is something which is a process in itself, and but if it can help by the end to help the overall process to be more effective, so that means it is worth to be done. I mean, yeah, it will create some additional task, but even for manual kind of process, still data verification should be existing as well. So instead of having it as kind of manual verification, so it will be automated verification. Yeah.
Okay. So, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question, again, I just did have was you did highlight this at the start in terms of that this was based on the UK. Again, like from an Irish perspective, I would be curious to see how it could work here. But even in other jurisdictions, have you encountered AIs being used anywhere else for similar purposes? And again, are they facing similar issues?
Yeah. The literature actually, there are a few literature about the use of AI in court systems in the US and in I think in Australia. So there are a number of cases we mentioned, or we refer to it in the paper, but they are not for construction. It is for other legal sector. Yeah, so they start to build some kind of examples for practitioners to use, and I think there should be some lessons to be learned from how they apply these systems. And there are already we named the number of systems used in certain courts across these countries. So definitely there should be some kind of real examples of looking at how it works and how it helps the process. Yeah.
Okay. So that then leads to things
Will
like
I
tools
share
and
my
supports.
screen now?
Sorry, sorry. I was just saying. So that then leads to the whole issue of tools and supports. And are tools available for adjudicators that wish to use these processes?
Yeah. I see. Yeah. There are examples. I mean, but still, I think in construction there should be some kind of special systems, because maybe we do these legal cases in different ways. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe just a final question then. Probably the same question for you both in terms of so Sean, in terms of the benefits of this. Do you have you seen benefits arising from the use of tele, or are we still at a bit too early stage to assess those?
No, there've been benefits since the very beginning. Very simple benefits, like knowing how much cable to procure and how much which pieces of equipment to order to send to the site can all be just queried from the database and collected and shared with other enterprise systems within these major organizations. So we're talking going from spreadsheets to 1 or 2 lines of predefined code for a user to press a button and get the results, and then validate the results themselves as the person, let's say, procuring the equipment, and then send that information to other management systems for actually purchasing the equipment. And that's just one example. There's other benefits. So to create a site installation document, a document that a man or woman brings to a site so they can organize all of the equipment and connect them, sometimes takes weeks to months by different practitioners all over the planet, actually. And they're sharing spreadsheets and cut and pasting diagrams from older documents and so forth. And now they can just press a button, which I call AutoSID, which is an automatic site installation document. So if you use tele ubiquitously throughout your design implementation, then the result is you can just press a button and the site installation document is created automatically. So there's so many different types of benefits, but we've seen them since the very beginning from using tele-structured data. Without it, you can only go back and do what you used to do.
Yeah. Okay. We should wrap up, but I did say I would ask you the same question, Ibrahim. Have you seen the benefits yet of this, or are we still at a bit of an early stage?
Well, yeah, I think the applications in the UK is quite limited, I can say, and the response, of course, from the interviewees still not so welcoming, you can say, at the moment. So that means we at least know what the current status is. And in terms of research, this has opened a quite good area for research and for developing such systems, which I'm interested in, of course, myself. And definitely there are some benefits for those who can build on these findings. Yeah.
Great. Well, I will follow both of these areas with much interest.
Thank you.
Okay, we should wrap up this session here. I'd like to thank you both for your contributions. They've both been very, very interesting, and we'll see you again soon. So I'll pass back to you, Alan.